The South Florida Business Report, the only show in South Florida devoted exclusively to the local business community.
Coming up next, South Florida entrepreneur Carlos Garcia, who parlayed a $2,000 investment into a $70 million service company called KIRA. And in an interview taped earlier, I asked Carlos what his company was all about.
Well, we do facilities maintenance and construction on military bases. Everything from HVAC, plumbing, electric, pest control. We run the utility plants, we run the water plants, we run their runways at the Air Force Academy.
Wow, yeah.
We take care of all their classrooms. For the Navy overseas, we run their docks, we run commissaries, everything that they outsource so that our soldiers and sailors can do what they're trained to do instead of pushing lawnmowers.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, listen, how'd you get into that business?
Well, I'd started my company 21 years ago, and I was doing principally environmental consulting. I'd had a big interest in environmental ever since I was at the University of Pennsylvania while 3 Mile Island blew up.
Yeah.
And the company was doing fine as an environmental contractor. But in 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down, I was fascinated. And when the United States announced that there would be a peace dividend and the world was safe, they were going to lay off 2 or 3 million soldiers and sailors. And I got to thinking, well, who's going to do the maintenance now that Gomer Pyle's not there to mop the floors anymore?
Yeah, that's right, Carlos.
Yeah.
And so that's how it all started, from scratch. And next year you'll do what, about 70 million, you told me?
We did 70 last year. We're looking at 80 now for 08, and it's a little higher than that because that doesn't include our joint ventures.
I got you. 80 million bucks from scratch, and you probably got a lot more than that on the books, right?
We have on our book, we've won $550 million worth of work, and we have a backlog. Some of our contracts we've just finished year 1 or year 2, and they run 15 years.
I'll be darned. That's terrific. When I say scratch, I'm going to say in 1959, your family was, Castro kicked them out of Cuba. And this is where it's been. You came across the United States with 0, and now you've done a marvelous job.
Well, bear in mind, when I came across, I was 3 months old. And my father had been in the sugar business, so when they took his farm, he was essentially unemployed, so the fact you could still get out back then. And so we flew to South Florida, and he took a job and started again. And I grew up here. I mean, I consider myself American.
Well, of course, you know, you're Cuban-American and down in Miami. And your dad went on to stay in the sugar business in South America, right?
He did. He had an opportunity to go work for a group of investors that had purchased some bankrupt sugar mills, and they turned him around, and he was the general manager that did that for them. I'll
be darned. That's terrific. Well, now, getting back to your company, doing the maintenance and construction work all across the United States and internationally, are you having any problems with labor?
Increasingly we are. As you know, the baby boomers have started to retire, and we have fewer and fewer young people getting into the trades.
Right.
You'll remember when you were in school, your teachers would say to you, if you don't do your homework, you're going to end up digging ditches.
Right.
Well, I hire those people, and what they don't realize is that ditch digger today operates a high-tech bulldozer and makes $50,000 plus a 401k with a match. But we just don't have the young people getting into the industry, so I speak a lot at colleges and high schools, encouraging students to consider careers in our industry. The industry's growing like crazy between the aging infrastructure opportunities and everything going on the military bases with people coming back, expansions of water plants. It's one of the biggest growth industries in the United States.
Yes, I've talked to several people interviewed on the show, and we've discussed the employment situation with the younger folks, where they can make really good living in the trades, and they're not going into the trades. They're getting involved in the high-tech computer stuff, and we're losing our service workers in like automobile mechanics, people who run the backhoe, the construction industry, and they're begging for people to, so you're offering, getting out there and saying, hey, look, this is really a great area to work in.
It's a nice area. It's very stable. It's not politically driven. We don't care if there's Democrats or Republicans. We still got to cut the grass at the same speed.
Right.
And the work is out there, and there's a great opportunities for advancement. There's interesting technology at use. We use GPS considerably. I love the industry.
Well, when you mention joint ventures, what are you talking about when you get involved with that?
Well, most of the jobs that we compete for have to be low bid. After all, the government, especially the Department of Defense, is outsourcing this work in order to save money. We typically save 30% over the government doing the work in-house. I like to say we've saved the U.S. taxpayers over $100 million by employing Kira.
Well, thank you, for God's sake.
Yeah, thank you. When people hear about these $500 toilet seats, they don't always realize that. But the joint ventures, getting back to your question, often two companies will get together because by combining their strengths, they can reduce price and give an even better value to the government. So we'll do that based on the requirements of a job.
All right, listen, Carlos Garcia, we're running out of time. Thank you for being here, and good luck in the future.
Well, thank you for having me.
And thank God that we got entrepreneurs like you running around in the country really working hard for us.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of us.
All righty, thanks a lot, Carlos.
Thank you.
All righty.